what would she be financing if the man is financing her life?
I guess whatever she wants to finance on her own.
What?
Hi. And welcome to the podcast. I'm Chantal.
I'm Shanice. And today we have Ken Sambury with us.
Hi.
And we'll be discussing the idea of an independent woman also wanting to be a kept woman. Can she have the two?
Okay.
So, Ken, you start on this one.
So firstly, what would you all define as a kept woman?
Okay, I would say a kept woman is one who wants to be taken care of by someone else. Maybe her partner, most likely.
I feel like, but that's every man's job. So when you say taking care of, you mean like the man does everything for her?
Yes.
So like the man picks up, drops her off.
Yeah, if need be,
the
or
man
like
finances her life.
yes, yeah.
Like
so even though she has a good job and she's making money or whatever, the man finances her life.
Yeah.
So can she have both? And basically.
So well, what would she be financing if the man is financing her life?
I guess whatever she wants to finance on her own, but it's optional.
But the man finances it because compulsory.
Well, that's what we're saying. Like, what would make a situation where it would become compulsory? What as a guy, what situation would you see yourself, or maybe speaking on behalf of the male species, where it would be compulsory, or where it would be no problem to be compulsory?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a couple of thoughts. My first thought is, it has a lot to do with like the two people and the discussion that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like a lot of like man-woman drama and issues is really from, I want to say like societal pressures.
Right.
Because
and societal norms.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because from my perspective, right, if I have the means, so let's use figures, right? So let's say I have $10,000 and this young lady needs, let me just use more realistic figures. So let's say I have $100,000, right? And this young lady needs $30,000 to survive.
Right.
Based on like the pleasure that she's bringing into my life and what I want, that could be a totally realistic equation. Because based on the type of work that I do, I may want to be inspired to probably even make more money, even make that 100,000, 200,000,
right,
just by how I'm inspired by her, which is one side of the coin. For somebody more like me who's like more about like work is play and play is work, but then for someone who like they have like a clear like work play separation, it might be a situation of where they making their 100,000, but then they want to enjoy life and they feel like this person is adding to their quality of life. Yeah, they might love what they do, but they want to like leave that space and come into a space that is sexy or fun or family. And I feel as though a woman who an individual was romantically involved in is in a very unique position to provide those three things and more, but definitely that sexy, seductive element, that fun element, and of course also that family element. And I think those three things are some of the strongest motivators. I would even say, at least for me personally, sometimes surpasses money.
Okay.
So it come like for me.
Okay. It's like a fair trade-off.
Yeah, like if I have $100,000, but again, fun, family, and some real
Sexiness.
good vibes.
Yeah.
Take my money. Yeah. No, like be real. Like,
Yeah.
what was the point of me keeping? Because the whole point of me keeping the money, Shanice, I just land plane. But the whole point of me keeping the whole point of me making my money in the first place
It's for fun.
is to attract them three things.
Okay.
You understand where I'm coming from? Because, real quick, I remember growing up. I always say like I grew up on music because I would like listen to music and I would actually listen to it now, and I felt like I learned a lot. And there was this Jay-Z song, and it goes, the power of the P-U-S-S-Y. That's why niggas get their haircut and want to just fly.
Yeah.
And it kind of like brought to my attention that, okay, we're gonna work hard, we're gonna make all this money, but then at the end of the day, you're really doing it so that you'll be attractive, and you will be able to have a good quality of life.
Right.
So I think from a man perspective, I would want to balance, and let's say not give the young lady all, more as a security for me, but it's not like I have a problem giving out. Like if I could somehow guarantee that this young lady, she gonna stay with the same level of sexy, fun family. Like if there was some way that I could do that, then by all means I could give all my money. I would have to keep none because I don't have no vex money basically, you know.
Yeah.
But black say no girl, me can listen to music again. Black say no girl, no owner. No, I can't argue with blacks. I ain't making the rules. I just come into the world and got introduced to it.
Yeah, talking to a young lady and she's basically letting you know, or you ask her like, okay, so what do you do for a living? And she's like, yeah, I'm a lawyer, whatever. But you know, if in a romantic situation, like we're out right now, I would expect you to buy me a drink, or, you know, if you want to talk to me from the first impression, letting you know that she's independent, but she's a kept woman.
Well, I think good for her. I think like somebody's keeping her right now.
No.
She's looking for me to be her kept.
She's letting you know, if you plan to keep on take this conversation past the bar right now, then that's what it is. You know, you have to be having some kind of allowance or something like that. Do you think like that would be too forward, or would you rather come like after you all know each other, and or what?
I mean, personally, I would not think it's too forward. I mean, I just feel like by all means, if that's what you want, no scene. But I also feel as though you kind of have to. It's like you're competing now.
Yeah, right.
So I feel like for me, not that I know plenty girls or anything like that, but I may not have to indulge in that type of hardcore requirement in order to engage in a conversation. Because I think one thing that we could all agree on is that I get a lot of messages. So like I have to put in extra effort to message you now, you know? So I'm trying to avoid extra effort on top of extra effort. However, I think for me, it's more about like the Stefan, let's say they're getting like quid pro, that. But to me, it's more about that as a, you know, and it does not have to be linear. And again, I come back to what I was saying about like the inspiration, you know, like for something that I do, where I don't know, especially I feel like it was always going on like pre-COVID, but like since COVID has come and gone, I feel as though today, you know, I could come up with an idea and I could execute that idea and it could go really well. Or in the reverse. So like we could be sitting here and, you know, it's the podcast and we're saying wholesome things, you know, nobody here saying that, you know, it's their daddy fault that they're a bad person or whatever the case is. And then people say, hey, you know, we want a little bit of wholesome vibes, and the next thing you know, 2 million views, and then Carrie's, you know, my whole team, all we doing is the podcast. You know, like, that's literally the world that we live in right now. You know, so it's a situation where I always say is the value of the 1%, meaning like I might do something and then I might put in 99%, but then I just missing now 1%, which might be McGill to come and say, let's just say she's only see a kept woman, so she's a lawyer, so she coming from work, and you know, as a professional, when you're studying like law or engineering or honestly anything, where you have to, I don't know how to put it, but like you have to study for a particular period of time, your view of the world changes. So as like a lawyer, you would view literally everything differently. Right? I'm telling you that because I'm a lawyer girl. She was viewing everything differently, right?
You're right.
So as a result of that, she might meet, it's not like she's trying to help me or trying not to help me, but she might just notice something. So she might say, Ken, I see Chantal and she needs to go and blow up, you know. Just make sure you do a little contract. She might even do the contract. She might just say, just do a little contract and ask them for 20% now. You know, and tell them, yeah, you can keep sending your crew. Just let me sign a little thing where you get 20% or whatever. Right. You understand?
So and basically, how useful the person is?
Yeah.
That a 1%?
So I would say no, and I have to say a caveat, right? Because, you know, I feel like there are certain words, especially for Trini women, are a bit triggering. And you see the word used, useful, is there anything to do with use? Because women are not tools. So when I say yes, I had to say the yes gentle and I'd put it on right gentle on the pillow. You understand? My philosophy right now. Okay. I personally do not think that anybody can really be used. Right? That's my personal philosophy. Because I feel like, bro, it's your responsibility if you want to continue a conversation or continue a situation. Nobody ever, unless the person forcing it. If then you can come and say, well, you can use me for so and so. Now, of course, you have a little gray area because some people feel manipulated, which could come like forcing or coercion because they come like, You know, I say, yeah, Chantal, come over here and you get $20. And when it reaches no money, you know, it come like a force to them. But outside of manipulation and outside of actual coercion, I feel like it can be used. Because it's however you sign up for.
Right.
You understand where I'm from?
So that's what I'm saying, like that 1% difference, is it her choosing to be of some value?
So I think, so in my opinion is, yes, a woman can deliberately, intentionally be of value, but that's not necessary.
Okay.
To me, it's not necessary for the woman to set out and say, all right, I'm going to try to be like more useful for Ken. I'm going to try to be more useful for my man. She could just be living her life. And to be real honest, that's kind of what I just do. You know, like, they're being real, like, I mean, not that I'm like this big asshole man or whatever. You know, like just being fair. But I am low on the intentional part.
Okay.
So it's not like I would never do it. But like, to be real honest, it's not to say like every morning I wake up and say, I'm going to do it for my girl today. But to be fair to me, naturally, I like nice things. And what you feel I like too? Company.
Yeah.
You understand? So it might have one man who go and wake up on Monday morning and say, what are you doing this week, boy? Dinner. I'm not thinking that. I will think, are you hungry? But bozo it is. Because I'm not feeling to go KFC. You understand? And we like bringing you. You follow? I am like literally. I think yesterday I booked like 4 flights. I literally woke up and I was like, yeah boy, I need to go to these places, whatever. I started to talk. My girl is like, well, I did not invite her anywhere. I did not say, let us go. Right? She was like, yeah, that day I gonna be off. Take. Big man thing. No, it gets so serious. So one of the places was to be Barbados, right? So I was like, yeah babe, so you know, I'm going to Barbados or whatever. I was supposed to stay by one of my friends. So she was like, all right, cool, and we talking about it. So I realized, like, something up with this conversation, because she's talking to me about, like, passes for events now. So she's like, yeah, you know, I want to go to these events and pass. I said, but we're not going to be staying in the same place. She's like, no, you say you stay by your friend. So, like, I go and stay by somebody else, you know. I go and stay, she'll go with one of her, like, girlfriends. But she want to know, like, the passes safe still now, boy, you understand? So that's my point. So my point is, like, you know, it really, I don't think you have to intentionally be like, I'm a lawyer, so let me come and write all my man contracts.
Yeah.
Nah, you could just be, honestly, depending on who you are, you could just exist. You could just be living your life acting normal, and just in your normal day-to-day, you're rubbing the man the right way. And in my opinion, I think those relationships, not only romantically, but also interpersonal, it could be friends, it could be employer-employee, teammates. I think those are the most healthy relationships.
Yeah.
Because it's not a situation where you're feeling stressed now, boy. You understand? Like, it come like, whether or not Kerry working for me or working with me, if I see Kerry making a mistake, I will just say, Kerry, girl, there's the correct way. So it's not taking anything out of me to say, Kerry, there's the correct way. And anytime I don't want to tell Kerry the correct way because I'm doing something, that's the bottom that I'm going to do it. I'm not going to tell her the correct way and then told feelings, Kerry, well, using me tonight, boy. What's her scene, dog? 9 o'clock in the night, she asking a question, I'm going to tell she tell her tomorrow.
Yeah.
You understand? So, yeah, but I would also say I do acknowledge that people have different personality types. So I do know that there are certain personality types which, and I encounter them a lot, which will help, but they would help, I would call it like, to their own detriment.
Okay.
And then they would realize later on.
Yeah.
So like they'll be helping, let's say for like 4 months, and then they'll wake up month number 5, hey boy, Ken boy, you know, I really help you boy, and I really like doing it, and I'll just be like shook off, I'll be like, what? So why don't just, like before you help, like, you know, month 3, if month 2 was your limit, right? Why don't just say that, you know, like month 3 in the beginning, right? And then I'll be like, no scene, right? And I'll change what it is, but obviously people are different, you know? So that's something else to acknowledge, so that might be effective for me. But for other people, you know, they may require someone being a little bit more intentional who could like proactively think, okay, by month 5, this person is going to burn out. So I am going to proactively say, hey, here already going on X, Y, and Z is the case in after month 2 now, boy.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to a Ken type who just can't be like, let me go.
Yeah.
And if you have a problem, let me know. Right?
Yeah.
And then boom, they might have a problem, and it might be a big problem that now changes the dynamic moving forward.
Ladies, y'all can be an independent woman and a kept woman at the same time, and you actually don't have to state it up front and, you know, say what you bring to the table or that you are the table or whatever. Just live your life, you know, just live your life.
And I think it also depends on who you choose.
Yeah.
Your partner, the partner you choose really could be the deciding factor on if you're kept.
Oh yeah,
kept,
or not,
like,
you know. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Ken, and thank you so much to
Welcome.
Ken Sambury for producing all our episodes for our podcast, and thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast. See you next time. Bye.
Awesome. Happy to be here.